Welcoming to the lectern Wade Minor, DTM, for his speech entitled Guidance for the Journey.
How many of you have one of these things?
Oh, yeah.
A few of you. How many of you have had the experience that you've started off going in that direction and for some reason you take a detour? And what does this thing do? Recalculating. Or, at the next available opportunity, please turn around.
Make a legal U-turn.
Make a legal U-turn and return to the indicated route. Sometimes, though, you know, something like this, as helpful as it is, can be a challenge. Because at least on this one, I cannot reprogram it while I'm driving. I need to stop. Or I need to reach up and turn it off. In many ways, this GPS unit is a pretty good metaphor for the internal guidance system that we have. But there are some major differences. Perhaps a better guidance, perhaps a better metaphor is that of an autopilot, such as on an airplane or on a boat. You set the direction, and on the airplane in altitude, turn it on, and we can take our hands off of the controls, and it will keep our vehicle on the indicated path. Now, if for some reason we encounter an obstacle, like in a boat, and we need to, move around it, we can put our hands back on the controls, override it, and get out, get past the obstacle, and release the controls, and it turns back enough for our charted the direction. And in some ways, this is much closer to our internal guidance system. One major difference is it's fairly easy to reprogram the autopilot. I turn the switch and the screen comes up and says, please enter your new direction. Our internal autopilot doesn't do that. There isn't any switch. It's always on. And reprogramming it can be a challenge. Several years ago, I had the opportunity to be a participant in a facilitated video course. It was presented by this guy. His name is Lou Tice, and I learned a few things from that, and I'm going to share on one or two of those with you. His approach on how we change our internal guidance system was that you needed a great wizard. Perhaps you remember the Wizard of Oz? I am the great Oz. And what he said changed how the characters acted. Lou Tice also uses an illustration that perhaps many of you will find very familiar, that it doesn't necessarily take a great wizard. It takes someone of great authority, in circumstances of great significance, saying something of great importance. And the example is a young couple comes and stands before a minister, and he says, by the authority vested in me by, so we have a person of great authority. In the presence of God And this company, we have a situation of great significance. I pronounce you man and wife. And he says something of profound and great importance. And their lives are instantly changed. But most of the time, our internal guidance system is not that easily programmed. We have trouble finding, at times, someone to be the great wizard for us. And that perhaps explains why often our New Year's resolutions, we get a week along, and what we're trying to in fact do is we're trying to manually override the autopilot. And something that distracts us, and we let go of the controls briefly, and it goes right back on the direction that it was programmed for. Now it is adaptive, and if we can hold it in that direction for about, well, long enough, it'll say, okay, I now understand that you want to go that way instead of that way. That can be, though, a real challenge. Our challenge really is, how can we be our own wizards? What we often find, though, is that when we want to reprogram our internal autopilot, the response comes back with, let me check this out. I know you, I have been with you all your life, and I know that you're not a wizard. Where is your wizard certificate? Or perhaps some of you, and especially Rick and Jessica have encountered that you're trying to install software on your computer, and it pops up a screen saying, administrative privileges are required for this operation. Please enter administrative password. And your internal guidance system says, what's your administrative password? Okay. Next presentation is going to, in fact, talk on that subject. But really, how many of you remember how the movie Wizard of Oz ended? What happens just before she leaves Oz? What is she told?
No place like home.
No. What Dorothy is told is, you've had the power all along. You just didn't know it. We've had the power. We just need to know how to use it. Next talk. Another question.